welcome you in our channel, and if today is the first time that you are visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our 500 videos arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both entertaining and useful to watch. If you have been here before but you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Be one of the almost over 5,000 people that have subscribed to the channel. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel featuring the Wizard, Mrs. Wizard and Elpida. Last week we built this very nice organization center for our shop, but again it is a rough piece of material. It is intended to be intended to be for a shop. It serves very well and I've definitely enjoyed it since we built it. In fact, I plan to expand it a little more off camera. I will show you the final result in one of the episodes. This week we are going to expand on last week's projects, and we are going to make a bookcase specifically. Well, technically it won't be a bookcase because it won't house books, it will house games. But an entertainment center organization. It's going to be fairly thin, and this is demonstrating the benefit of really creating DIY projects, because we have only 14 inches that we can put this in the apprentice's room. So we could not buy that, we could not find it, and if we were to make it to order, it would be extremely expensive for something like that. So stick around and we're going to show you how to build a custom entertainment organizer for your DVDs, your CDs or your games. And here we are showing you how to cut the boards to the correct dimensions, and I'm using a very small circular saw and a speed square to make a nice 90-degree cut. This is an easy and convenient way to achieve this result, and there are other ways to do it. You can also freehand it, or you can use one of these attachments that exist for a lot of circular saws and even some jigsaws, and as long as you hold it to the edge, you're going to get really good results. As you can see here, both methods got good results. Here we're trying to make a dado, or a rabbit to be more specific, but in the last moment my square moved, and as you can see the cut was not 90 degrees as I wanted it, so we have to scrap it, and what I end up doing here is just cut this part off and made this the piece of wood I'm going to use for actually doing the shelves. Here I moved to a different kind of material, but the same idea. So I put a straight edge and I clamp into the material. I put both boards next to each other, so I do it all in one pass, and this ended up working really well. We use this methodology to do all the rabbits, and we were very pleased with the outcome. If you do not have a router, this can be a little harder, but can be achieved with a dado. So we did show you a couple of ways to make these channels. We have a router, and probably the router is the best way to do it, right? You could potentially do it in a table saw using a dado, or if you don't have that, by doing multiple cuts until you have the desired width here. One of the things that you also saw us doing is put both of the sides next to each other, so we make the calculation only once and we cut in both boards at the same time. And also something we struggled is that when you calculate, you need to calculate the distance that you want between shelves, but you need to account for the thickness of the shelf in order to set your distance correctly. So once you do that, you can go ahead and do all the cuts at a time and pray it's correct. So after you set up, you want to make sure that you're square in every one of your movements, and we have created a measuring stick, which is the dimension we need from the bottom of the previous shelf to our edge. And we use that to make repetitive cuts without having to measure every time. Okay. So we finished with all our rabbits, as you can see, and by combining the two boards together, we made it a little easier for ourselves. And now we're ready to start cutting the cells for the unit, and that is also a repetitive process. We're going to show you cutting 1, but we don't need to show you a continuation of, I think we end up with what, 7 shelves we said? So we'll show you how we do that. A table saw is not the ideal tool to make this cut, but here I have Mrs. Wizard assist me, as you can see, and this way it can be done in a safe and controlled manner with very good results. However, you should not attempt this cut on your own if you don't have someone to help you, because it can become a very dangerous and very precarious cut. As always, we're going to use the first piece that we cut as the template for the second one, so we do not keep measuring over and over for the same piece of material in very similar cuts. As long as you make sure, as I make sure here, that the two pieces are flush with each other, then you're going to have very consistent similar cut throughout. We need 8 of those pieces, and as you can see, with a piece like this having to work together, we can achieve a very good and very safe result. This cut really needs a sled. But
do you want to say anything about that?
no, I will voice. So here we are. We've got our 8 shelving units, and they are right in front of us. And with our sides slotted and cut to the appropriate length, we are now ready to start assembling this very unique bookcase. But as you can see, we'll have a fairly small size shelf, but that's what we need in this instance. And we are ready to start assembling the bookcase. We're going to attach it with brad nails, but the heavy lifting will happen with glue. So we're going to glue each side, and this provides a very good surface because we have the rabbet here that will provide a lot of strength, and with the brad nails and the glue, this will not come open ever in eternity. So we're going to show you a little bit of the process, and then hopefully we'll show you the assembled piece of furniture. All right.
You have to open it to put glue in.
Yeah, take it off, look. Take the shelf off and put it on the shelf.
I was going to put it in the groove, but okay.
So in a build like this, the heavy lifting happening by the glue, and as you can see here, we're using Titebond 2, which is my preferred glue, to put in both sides of each shelf that will attach it then securely through the sides. We're going to use brads to attach it temporarily and to provide clamping power to dry, and we're going to assist it with clamps throughout the process until we're confident that it's not going to fall apart, since the two pieces are not going to be perfectly straight, and we're going to do some convincing to stay together. So by being careful and aligning things correctly, you're going to end up with a very good result. But this is a critical part of this process, and you need to take care to do it correctly. All right, move it towards me a little bit, okay, and help me make sure that I'm hitting them.
No, this way. A little more. A little back.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Now you can make that easier in yourself and actually make a line. But we don't believe in ease of use.
Wait, don't go yet.
Let me go around.
Okay, just sure.
Right, let's tilt a little bit to be flush. Very tempted to voice this over because I've used this gun consistently, and when I'm not on camera it works flawlessly every time, but for some reason when I try to record it will not shoot correctly. Maybe it is camera, I don't know, but I decided to leave it on for your pleasure.
Hold on, I need to. Calm down. Yes. No, this way. There.
Let's do some more and I can do the other side.
Okay. So we'll just complete this process or repeat this process for all of the
We have one in there,
rabbits that
look.
we have here.
We have a stuff already inside.
And then we'll come back and show you what is.
You see our clamping here, and you will not have to clamp this because these boards will be a little bit bowing, or they will not be perfect. This is boards from a big box store anyway. So you might look at something strange on this specific clamp, right? That looks a little strange. Would you agree?
A little bit.
And this is a way you can actually use a clamp as a spreader. You simply remove the edge from here. I'm going to put it back together now. This is one of the reasons why Irwin makes my favorite clamps. And if I do it correctly, you will see why. And now it's a clamp again. Alright? So we'll be back with you. Alright, and here we are in the apprentice's room. And the piece goes to match the existing pieces that we have made for him. And it was a special request by the apprentice. What is going to house?
It's going to house video games.
Video games. So again, a lot of the design characteristics were driven by the purpose, right? It is not a normal bookcase. It is not something that you could have purchased to fit this specific purpose in this small space. But is the customer happy?
I think it's going to work really well.
Okay, that's what counts. So we'll show you with some of games on it shortly, and that will do it for our build. Well, friends, and here is some of the other furniture that I've built for the apprentice. With the newest one, of course, is the one for the games that, as you can see, was populated very quickly. Well, you didn't see how quickly it was populated, but was populated, and it just about fit everything, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it better. Again, this is a great idea for something very specific like we had here. We had a 12-inch space that usually you cannot find anything to buy to do with it, right? So it was that space that we now utilized in a vertical way. We took things off the floor. We made things easier for him to find and utilize. And this will also make a great DVD, I think,
Yeah.
collection thing, or even CD. And for CDs, you can even make it smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get really fancy, you can put it in an angle. So you can see them, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But we're not that fancy yet. We're getting there. Of course, you can make this as a straightforward. The other two pieces of furniture that you just see are not made with a rabbit. They're made with cleats, but they did work very nicely. We're very happy with the way they came up, and definitely we are happy with the way this came up. Well, folks, and this is our finished project. And you can see it is a very similar idea to the one that we did last week, but this is intended to be more finished. At this stage, you could actually stain it or paint it. You know, there are different things you can do. But using these concepts, you can build a lot of different bookcases, a lot of different sizes. Another thing that you can do that we didn't do is put a backing, like a paper backing or a very thin board or something of this nature. Now, if they are bigger, putting a board, what do you call it? That you can see the separations. I don't know what I'm talking about. That you can see the pieces between the board. It has a name, I don't know.
I don't know what it's called either.
We did the bar that way. The wall in the house that
Oh,
way.
the tongue and groove?
Yeah. In big pieces, the tongue and groove backing can add some character to the piece.
Okay.
In any case, we hope you enjoyed this episode and this build. And if you did, we appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe, and let us know what you would like to see in the future in the channel. From the Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, and Elpida, and of course the Urban Homesteading channel, we bid you well and have a great week. See you soon, friends.